Hi everyone, this is Dr. Sun Liew, and I'm a show host, Dr. Sun Liew Show. Today's America and the world, as well as Dr. Sun for U.S. Senate show, as well as You Right and You Vision TV broadcast show. Today I have a great, our caucus, Republican caucus executive directors, Art Holman is here. Welcome.
Well, thanks so much, and I'm delighted to be on with you.
Great. So I'm so impressed you with our Republican conservative to fight for. So explanation yourself more detail for our audience, please. Yeah.
Certainly. Well, the Conservative Caucus is a citizen lobbying organization. What we are is we're grassroots people all around the country. And so what we try to do is educate people on the issues, tell them how they can influence the issues, like calling their members of Congress, visiting member of Congress's offices, going to school board meetings, registering voters, and helping them to vote in the elections. We support things like closing the border to stop illegal immigration, and then blocking a lot of the things President Biden is doing that are destructive to our country. Inflationary spending, weakness to our enemies that invites wars, and things like that. So we were founded in 1974, and we're almost at 50 years of service to the country.
Great. So now we have a President Joe Biden. We always talk about his weakness, and as well as we are comparable our great President Donald Trump. We still miss a lot for his 4 years successful, right? So tell me about what is your motivation to support him, and what is the motivation to you are involved in this older movement, Fight for America. It's great again, yeah.
Sure. Well, when President Trump, said that we want to make America great again, he was exactly correct, because America is a great nation. It's the greatest nation on earth, we believe, and in fact, so many things. We stand for freedom. We're the beacon of freedom to the world. We're the only folks that tell people in China you have a right to be free, or North Korea, or Iran, or Venezuela, or any of the other countries. Nobody else is talking about freedom, and so that's one of the things that makes us great. But then it's also, are we buying American products? Are we are we building up our country and our people, or are we taxing them to death? Are we the liberals want to change boys into girls and girls into boys, and they're teaching socialism and communism in schools instead of reading, writing, and arithmetic, and turning out citizens who actually know how to function in the economy. Instead, they're turning out basically children. After they turn 18, today's education, they're often kind of like children.
Yes. I think today's we have America as a defense problem and economic problem. This is two main problems. It's why we talk about education in next generations. So what is America? Most issues, urgent issues, what we need to main top three issues. What you want to support, top three issues.
Well, sure, and thanks. Those would boil down to a few things. One is the economy. We've got to rebuild our economy, and part of that means we've got to bring jobs home from China. Back, 1970s and 80s and into the 1990s, we made most everything ourselves. And that means that we had manufacturing jobs here at home. And so when you bought something, whether it was a car or a sofa or anything like that, that money went from you to somebody in your community or your city or your state, and it kept our economy going. Now we send that money to China when you buy a sofa or TV or anything like that. So we're sending our wealth abroad. China got rich at our expense. They were able to afford to build up a military that threatens us, while we're, having to make cuts and so forth. And then we got to stop the spending, the reckless spending that's causing inflation. Everybody in America, they're seeing their grocery prices double, triple. It's at least double when I go to the gas station or the grocery store just to buy the basics of life. Our military strength, our defense, and our foreign policy, it has to radiate strength. Now you're from Korea. Korea is threatened, South Korea, free Korea. You're threatened by North Korea, which has nuclear weapons and an insane family of psychotic leaders. And they threaten your country. They also threaten the United States. And they really work very closely with China. And so if Xi Jinping is saying, trying to bully the United States, then he can call up his friend Kim in North Korea and say, fire off some more missiles, we want to scare them. And then we have the, because of President Biden has been nothing but weakness, every enemy, it's kind of like if somebody lived in a dangerous neighborhood and they left their door open and they left all of their valuables out where anyone could see it. Well, they're going to be taken advantage of. They're going to be robbed, they're going to be shot and so forth, because the crooks know they can get away with it. Contrast that with maybe the next door neighbor. The next door neighbor has got a shotgun and he's got a big German Shepherd dog, and he says, if you come to inside, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, shit.
And so radiating strength, projecting strength is essential. This is why when Biden got us out of Afghanistan in a reckless and dangerous way, then within months Putin went into Russia, into Ukraine, because he knew he could get away with it. The Saudis then signed a deal with China because they saw the U.S. under Biden as not wanting to defend them, and then President Biden, and then the Saudis ended what we call the petrodollar, which is you have to buy petroleum from the Middle East in American dollars. And so that means then that the American dollar will lose value, and the Chinese currency will gain in value. So these are the things that directly threaten our future. China, if they take Taiwan, they own the chip manufacturing. The chip manufacturing, it's in everything. It's in your phone, it's in your car, it's in your washing machine, it's in your refrigerator, it's everywhere. It's what makes it, all of life work these days. And so they could simply say, oh, we're not going to sell you any chips unless you get out of the Pacific and you go home to Hawaii, and maybe we'll take Hawaii. And they've been sailing their ships around the world. China's been building military bases in South America, right on the Caribbean. So that's another element. The border, foreign policy and military strength, and then, inflation and the economy at home. But then there's also, what are they teaching in schools? And that's another element of President Biden and the left. Yeah, CRT.
There's a culture.
Sure. They're teaching kids to hate others. They're teaching kids to hate themselves and their own bodies, teaching them they're inferior or they're an oppressor, and just based on the color of their skin, but not the character of their, the quality of their character. So that's kind of what we look for and want to restore in America. And so when President Trump was in office, then he was doing just what was needed, and so we're hoping that in
Be elected 2020.
well, yeah, we want a conservative president, hopefully in 24.
So to me, I have a personal motivation to learning. U.S. Senate and U.S. Congress because of Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, because he's businessman. He's businessman, but
Yeah.
no experience like Biden, Joe Biden, President Joe Biden was still. We are afraid to run office, but once we see the President Donald Trump, to even have Biden many years, experience politics. The president is a very fresh. Donald Trump is very fresh president, but he doing more and more like great economic, build the economic, settle down to America, and then more conservative value, more biblical value, more like the public identity. So I have my own, experience, motivation by President Donald to run even office. So what is your motivation? Do you have a relationship with Donald Trump, individual or public, or maybe as your purpose? What is his strong part you can give it to? Because you are more close than any person, right? So what is his strong strong part that he can be better than Joe Biden, President Joe Biden? Yes.
Well, Donald Trump, DeSantis, and the other conservatives running, who may be running in 2024, they will be far better than they'll stop the socialism, they'll build up America's strength, and just by being in office, our enemies won't attack us, because during Trump's administration, Russia took no territory. Before that, they went into Georgia and so forth, and Ukraine under Barack Obama, and then under Trump, nothing. They were scared, and then now Russia's back to Ukraine, and they're threatening Poland and the Baltic states. So merely by having a better, conservative president in the White House, whether it's Trump or somebody else, we're going to have a safer country and a safer world.
So tell me about a little bit what is the conservative. Many people, they know conservative, what is the really conservative mean is. So to me, it's I'm a pastor also in church.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so when I even my age, 19 years old, I was graduation nursing school. I decided to go to theology school to give my life card. To me, it's a very special background. Be conservative, be biblical. But what is people they are very liberal, right? The liberal party, we are conservative in the public, conservative. So what is the three main conservative we support? Tell me that. What conservative? What you
conservative issues
yes,
and stuff?
Yeah. What is conservative? We are the conservative. We say conservative, right?
Right.
So what is the main identity of conservative? So this person is conservative candidate. This is liberal candidate. So what is the main?
Well, let's take a look at it this way here. It's freedom or tyranny at the extreme. So, in America, we see ourselves as free. And the contrast with where you grew up in Korea is very stark. You've got South Korea, which is vibrant and has elections and free speech. The people are wealthy and live good lives. And then you cross that demilitarized zone, and they don't even have lights. You've seen the pictures of the Koreas at night, where South Korea is glowing and bright at night, and North Korea is just a few little dots because they're so poor, because it's a tyranny, it's a dictatorship. no different from Hitler's Germany, Soviet Russia, Maoist China, or the worst butchers of the Middle Ages. And so conservatives basically believe in freedom. We have the right to free speech. We have the right to send our kids to the schools we want. We have the right to elect our leaders and so forth. Whereas the Democrats want to dictate to us. You must believe this. You can't believe that. If you say that you don't want children chopped up by crazy doctors in high school to change your gender, then then they'll try to cancel you and censor you, just like in North Korea or in China, where if you say the wrong thing, you'll either go to prison, you'll be shot, or you'll just be deprived of all privileges. And so that's kind of, it's freedom or tyranny. It doesn't seem like tyranny when Biden is there and the people that support him, because he used the word democracy, right? And democracy, sounds like, oh, freedom. Who could be against that? But every dictators in the last century, they learned that if you sell a dictatorship by calling it freedom, then people will get behind you. But it's always a false promise. Communism always results in death and disaster. So when we talk about freedom, we really mean it. And so when conservative leaders like President Reagan and Donald Trump were in office,
Abraham Lincoln too.
Yeah, then things get better. The economy gets better, and our enemies respect us. But so that's kind of the difference. It's freedom or tyranny, or light tyranny. Sort of like light beer. The Democrats won't say we want to shoot you for having the wrong beliefs, but they will try to prevent you from talking and censor you.
So we have a First Amendment, freedom of speech. We have a Second Amendment, bear arms. So
right.
This freedom is we have to have it, but nowadays liberal, they are pro-cons, against us too. We are the conservatives. We have always fight for, like what you said, freedom of, speech, freedom of public, freedom of assembly, freedom of religious. We have a First Amendment, right? So, and there is bear arms, and everyone we have right to bear arms because we have to protect ourselves.
Well, this is an element of freedom. Every country that went down the road to dictatorship, what did they do? They took away guns.
Yes.
Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Venezuela, Cuba, they take away the guns and then you're defenseless. Now imagine this. Imagine if every Jewish person in Germany had a gun, and when the SS came to the door to take them away to a death camp, they had shot the guy. It wouldn't have lasted more than a few months. And so, being able to defend our freedom, that is an important part of freedom. It's when you take that away, then the dictators are free to act.
Dictators always they want to control gun control. They support gun control.
Of course.
Yes, that's the problem. But many countries they have bear arms. There's no the crimes, but they believe that because people have guns, more crime, but it's not true. So if they have bear arms, they can protect themselves. So I'm really, as candidate U.S. Senator, I'm supporting First Amendment and Second Amendment bear arms. Great.
Well, thank you. And kind of in closing, let me add, you're running for the U.S. Senate. Yeah. Now, I worked in Congress. I worked for a member of Congress. So there's so much that you can do, and anybody who's in the Senate can do. You can write legislation. You can vote for it. A senator has a lot of influence. So if you pick up the phone and you call a government agency, they will pay attention to you. You can also, in a committee hearing, you can call as witnesses and subpoena them by legal force to come and testify, and then they have to hold up their hand and say, I swear that this is under penalty of perjury. And so you can, it's sort of like you're being a little bit of a judge and jury, so you can get answers on what the other side is doing to us. And so we're seeing some of that in the House, where they're going after the folks that covered up the Wuhan virus from China, and going after the people who are destroying our border and things like that. So you would have a lot of power in Congress, and I know you would do well with that. And the liberals on the other side, the two senators from California, they're basically socialists.
Yes.
Yeah. So well, I really enjoyed being on with you.
Really thank you so much. Did our show. One last my question is that thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for your support.
And if people would like to get a hold of us, ConservativeCaucus.org. And we're also on social media, ConservativeCaucus.org.
Thank you so much. You are all the support.